What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to this episode of G4 Outdoors. Today we are going to be doing an oil change on the 2020 Toro MyRide. It could not be any easier, so no excuses not to do it. And if you like what you're seeing behind me, I got plenty of reviews coming up, so hit that subscribe button if you're interested in any of these Toro products that you
The bank is always calling and I don't know what to do, and I haven't bought a crankbait since like 1992. But the bass are out there schooling and they're ready to attack, and I got all my favorite lures and they're loaded in my pack. All that stress that's in my body's always driving me insane. When I'm reeling in that buzzbait, it just seems to go away. Now you see, fishing ain't a habit, it's a passion in my soul.
All right, even though I did say that this could not be any easier, it actually could be just a little bit easier. I went on forums, I went to other dealers that were not Toro dealers, asked to cross-reference this filter into another brand of filter that I could use. It's a brand of filter that has a good name behind it. Not that Toro doesn't have good filters. I just wanted one that is more commonly known in the oil industry that are good filters. So you will have to go to your local Toro dealer supplier to get your oil filter. Altogether, this oil change alone is going to run you $30 thereabouts. I paid $33 something including tax. So I want to bring you in here and please take my advice on this. Come in closer. So when you're taking your drain tube off, please be careful. This is the plastic nipple that sticks up inside of here that actually entraps this tube to keep it up into this hole. When these things are brand new, if you've worked on any engines, dry rubber tends to stick to everything, or dry tubes, like under your engine compartment, they tend to stick to everything if they're dry. So when these come out from the factory, these are installed dry, there's no lubrication on them. So these rubber hoses are really hard to get off. So take your time when you're getting this drain tube off from under here the first time. After your first time, it will be lubricated with oil and you're not going to have that problem. This is a problem that Toro knows about, and Toro is in the process of fixing this. Later on down the line, the newer models that are coming out, they will have a cap on here. That's what they're going to be doing. They're not going to have this holder that's stuck onto the inside of this right here to break off anymore. So it's something that they know about, and that's one thing that I really like about Toro. I called them and told them that I broke this off like right off the bat, and they said that they've had a couple of complaints and they are working on a new design on that. So kudos for Toro for standing up to for their products, whatever, and making things right. Again, it's not that big of a big deal. This is a brand new model. They're going to have growing pains or learning curves on this with new products that are on these mowers. So you can just put a bolt in here to cover this up, and that is recommended. That way you don't have dust flying in and down this tube, getting into oil or whatnot. So this will be the first oil change on the Toro 24.5 horsepower motor, and the reason why you need to do your oil change at 5 hours, the initial oil change is going to be your most important because this is a fresh motor. So it's all lubricated, it's all brand new, the tolerances are super tight, so everything in this motor is rubbing up against each other. I'm not talking big shavings, but there will be a lot of metal shavings in this oil when you drain it. You probably won't be able to feel it, you probably won't be able to see it, but all of the working components in here are actually seating themselves. So your first oil change at 5 hours is extremely important. Don't pass that up and you're good to go. So anyway, let's dive right in and get to this oil change. Sorry about all the rambling. Okay, so before you start, be sure you have all of your products ready. You have your oil filter, 3 quarts of oil for your first oil change, if you're changing your oil filter, which you should be every time. 2 1/4 quarts will go into your motor, and then you will have 3/4 of a quart left over for your next 3 oil changes. So every oil change after this, you just buy 2 quarts. So super simple. You have your blue holding bracket right here. Take your rubber hose, unsnake it from there, bring it down as low as possible. So I'm going to bring it underneath the throttle cables, and then just lean it into your oil bucket. Once you have this down as low as it'll go, take your oil cap off to relieve any pressure that's keeping this oil from coming out, as you can see there. So we'll let this drain for a little bit. I'll be right back. Now while your oil is draining, you're going to sneak in here and start working on your oil filter. This should not be very tight, so you should be able to take it off with your hands. One thing about the Toro motor right here is they have a lip right here that will catch your oil. It's still going to run off, but it's not like others to where once you undo this, all the oil is just going to run down the side of your engine and into a part of your motor that you're not going to be able to change. So this is going to be a super quick and easy removal. And as you can see, after I'm done with this, haven't done it yet, but there will not be a mess after I'm done with this. And then how to keep the oil from getting too messy. Once it gets loose, just give it a real snap, and that way it'll spin off all the way. Maybe. So there's still quite a bit of oil in the engine, so it's going to be coming out for a little bit. So let's get another rag. Crap! This ain't working out like what I thought. So for future reference, let a little more oil drain out of your motor before you go to taking that filter directly off. Now I'm going to have to wash this because that oil will attract dirt and it'll just sit here for the rest of its life. Wah, wah. All right, so while that's draining, let's talk about the oil filter for a minute. When you take this oil filter off of your engine, this black rubber gasket has to be on this filter or removed from the block. If not, this rubber gasket will cause a double gasket seal on your motor, and that is definitely not a good thing. You'll start leaking motor oil like crazy. I'm not even sure if this gasket will come out of here. Now there is a lot of oil that's still left in this filter. I'm just looking in there to see if I can see metal shavings coming out. The oil is very clear, it's not burnt or anything like that, just clear, good oil. So set that upside down on your oil pan, and then, I don't know, we'll wait for this to finish draining, and I will wait until there's just drips coming out. So as soon as this stream stops, it is slow, slower than what I anticipated. One option you can do if you want to speed things up just a little bit, I did jack the other side of the mower up just a little bit so that I'll make sure all of this gets out of here. Just an option, you don't have to do that, it just takes a little bit longer. So while this is draining, you can go ahead and prep your new filter. The filter does have some sort of lubricant on there, but I'm gonna disregard that and pretend like it's not even on there. I'm gonna take a little bit of oil from the stuff that's draining out, and all I'm gonna do is lubricate this O-ring that's on here. All right, on second thought, come back about 15 minutes later, because this is a slow drainer. Go ahead and take your hose, lift it up just a little bit, clean the tip of that off. Now whatever you got at the hardware store to put into this hole to keep dust from going in there, now's the time to do it. Luckily I found a deprimed 45 ACP. That fits perfectly in there, nice and snug. So reroute this back up through the blue holders and capture that up underneath there. Now we're good to go there. Now you're going to put your oil filter on. It has to be done in this order, guys. If you put your motor oil in there with this down, it's just going to drain out. If you put your motor oil in there before you put your oil filter on there, it's just going to drain out. So lift your oil hose up and then put your pre-oiled oil filter on here. And when you spin this on, make sure that you're not cross-threading. Go ahead and spin that on. Once it's tight, go ahead and give it about a quarter of a turn, maybe half. You do not put pressure on this, just hand tight. Don't make any grunting noises putting this on, just get it tight, hand tight, that's all. If you over tighten this, you're never going to get it off. You're going to have a hard time getting this back off. With the rubber O-ring on here and the heat of the motor and everything, this is going to seal itself, and it's going to be sealed for a long time. So go ahead and clean the mess up down here on your deck or your frame. Now let's add some oil. All right, now you guys get a laugh at me because I don't have a funnel to put this oil in here. So this will be a chore. My goodness. Let's try lifting the seat up. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? If you got a funnel, I recommend using it. Let's try that again. Yeah, I'm a slow learner. I can't do it. All right, here's the deal. If my wife finds out that I'm using one of her pastry dispensers, I'm coming after one of you. One quart. 2 quarts. And now, roughly 1/4 of a quart. Now we should be full. Now you're not going to want to measure your oil just yet. If you put 2 1/4 oils in there, everything's going to be fine. What you're going to want to do is level your motor. So take it off the lift if you've lifted it up to speed up your oil draining process. And then you're going to start your motor for about 30 seconds to get all of that oil into your oil filter, into your crankcase and everything, to get the oil dispersed. That way you'll get a proper oil level reading. Now when you're running your engine, getting all that oil mixed around, keep an eye on your oil filter to make sure that no oil is coming out of that. Now you can check the level of your oil. And when you check that, you want to put that all the way in there, close it, and then open it. And as you can see, we are right at the full mark, so everything's good to go. So the oil change on the new Toro mowers is very easy, especially with this drain hose on right here, where you just lay it over, let it drain out, gather up all your oil, take it to your local Napa, any of your O'Reilly's, any place like that. They'll take your oil for you and dispense of that. Also, when you do your first oil change, you do want to pop open your air filter, throw it outside, bring it back and give it just a quick dusting and make sure that it's not all fouled up or anything like that. Of course, mine is all clean, so I'll put the foam back on, reinsert that. Easy as that, and your first maintenance is all done. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in any battery powered equipment, I do have a lot of reviews coming out on those hedge trimmer, blower, weed eater, future chainsaw, a snow blower, and also the gas powered super recycler. If you're interested in any of those reviews, hit the subscribe button and stick around for some more reviews. Even though this oil change is kind of easy, I feel I kind of bombed on it. Just wasn't prepared. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, guys, if you like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. I will see you in the next one. I'm out.
I don't know what to do, and I haven't bought a crankbait since like 1992. But the bass are out there schooling, and they're ready to attack it. And I got all my favorite lures, and they're loaded in my pack. All that stress that's in my body's always always driving me insane. When I'm reeling in that buzzbait, it just seems to go away. Now you see, fishing ain't a habit, it's a passion in my soul. When I'm